HOA, Karen parked in my private workshop, so I welded the doors and left town. I want you to picture this. It's a warm summer morning and I roll up to my workshop, my sanctuary. I built this place myself, from floor to ceiling. For years, it's been my pride and joy. Inside, I've got polished muscle cars, my hydraulic lift, and tools lined up like soldiers. But today, something's off. The driveway is clear, but when I walk to the big rolling door, I freeze. There in the middle of my shop sits a brand new white SUV, fully inside, engine off, no one around. That's when I see it. A sticky note on the windshield that says, "I needed shade, thanks." For a moment, disbelief washes over me. My $300,000 restoration project is blocked and no apology, just entitlement. And honestly, I didn't react like you might expect. I didn't scream. I didn't call the cops. I picked up my welder, sealed every door shut, and walked off to book a vacation. That's the moment this story takes its wild turn, and I promise you, it only gets crazier from here. 2 weeks before that SUV showed up, life was simple and good. I was finally ahead on orders, clients were happy, and I had just installed a new hydraulic lift that turned restoring classic muscle cars into a dream. My workshop wasn't just a job site, it was my peace. And honestly, the only thing that kept me sane under the grip of an overbearing HOA. See, my HOA was the type that cared about rule minutia, paint colors, yard layouts, mailbox sizes, but never about real problems. And as long as I kept my cars civilized and my tools off the lawn, I stayed under the radar. That all changed when she moved in. Karen. Karen was new to the corner lot down the hill. On move-in day, she rolled in blasting opera through her windows, yelling at the movers for stacking her yoga mats vertically, not horizontally. It was intense. Within 2 days, she delivered a glossy pamphlet, Karen's Guide to a Better Neighborhood. She'd printed it, laminated it, titled herself the Liaison of Parking and Aesthetics, and dropped it in every mailbox. I laughed it off. But then come complaints. Mailbox too big, garage paint too dark, clients' cars congesting the piece. The HOA board chuckled and told me not to worry. She's harmless, they said. But harmless turned into hostile fast. One morning at 3 a.m., I find tire tracks all over my gravel driveway. I'd set my camera for the night. I wanted to see what was happening. Sure enough, there she is. SUV halfway up the ramp, tires dug in like she'd been doing donuts. She catches me on camera holding my coffee, shamelessly waves while flipping me off and drives away into the night. I lashed out, sent a polite, firm note. "Please don't park in front of my shop. It's under video monitoring. Thanks." But next morning the note was gone, and so was her SUV. There was just a new trail of tire tracks leading into my ramp. Great. So I sent the footage to the HOA and the local police. Mix of petty complaint, safety hazard, potential arson risk with flammable materials lying around. What happened? HOA President Mr. Lewis shrugged. "We'll look into it." The police arrived, saw the footage, and told me it was a civil matter. Well, civil matter meant Karen could do whatever she wanted, within a loophole she'd found. I started taking precautions. Installed motion-activated alarms, repositioned cameras, reinforced door frames. Still nothing deterred her, and I realized she wasn't playing a casual game. Karen was operating like it was her mission. That's when I knew I was approaching a turning point. I tell you all this to show you where my head was at when I came back from lunch that Friday, and stood in disbelief when I found Karen's SUV parked inside my locked, reinforced workshop, deep in my restoration zone. The doors were locked. Vacation mode locked. Cameras were rolling, and without a word I grabbed my gear, sealed the place up tight, documented everything, and walked out the door. I booked a flight. Destination? Anywhere but here. Vacation. No stress. Let Karen stew in her confusion. As I closed my phone, I sent her a final message. "Don't worry, your car will be freed eventually. This isn't funny." Then I put the phone on silent and let the camera feed go cloud backup. So there I was, miles away from home, drinking something fruity with an umbrella in it, sitting by the pool while Karen, bless her soul, was probably trying to figure out how her luxury SUV ended up locked inside someone else's private sealed-off workshop. I turned my phone off for a full 72 hours. No notifications, no HOA nonsense, no angry text from Karen. But once I finally did power it back on, oh boy, I had 36 unread messages, 4 voicemails, 2 missed calls from the HOA, and 1 text from a guy named Mike Locksmith that simply read, "I'm not doing this job." Too much liability. Turns out Karen had tried everything while I was gone. She called the police. They told her it was private property and a civil matter. Again, she called a locksmith. He took one look at the cameras, saw the welded doors, and dipped. She even called animal control, claiming there was a strange chemical smell inside, and that someone might be in danger. No dice. She was in full meltdown mode. And my security cams? They caught all of it. Now here's where things get interesting. My buddy Frank, bless that man, lives across the street and noticed Karen's antics escalating by the hour. So he called a local news crew, told them there was an HOA scandal involving property invasion and a locked-up luxury car. They bit hard. The next morning, I wake up to find Karen in a full-blown interview with the local Channel 9 team. Tears, dramatics, waving her arms like she was auditioning for a soap opera. She spun the story like she was the victim, said I trapped her car because I was jealous of her lifestyle and trying to intimidate her. Except, the news team requested the footage, and I gave it to them. Raw, unedited security cam clips of her unlocking my side gate, entering my workshop without permission, parking her SUV all the way in, and leaving a smug little sticky note like it. Was no big deal. And then the panic when she realized I had welded the doors shut. Let's just say, the internet loved it. Karen gets trapped by her own entitlement went semi-viral by the weekend, and when a reporter asked to see her license and registration for her vehicle, guess what? Her driver's license had been suspended, and the SUV registration was expired. That didn't help her sob story one bit. By the time I got back home, Karen had gone silent. My lawn looked untouched, the shop still sealed tight, and the whole street felt different. Neighbors waved a little longer. People stopped by to say things like, "Hey man, just so you know, we've got your back." Even the HOA president, Mr. Lewis, who once brushed everything off, gave me a sheepish handshake and muttered, "We've had some discussions." The next morning, I called the cops, told them I was ready to officially open my workshop, with officers present to verify that no damage had been done to her vehicle. Just in case she tried to sue me for scratching her paint. 2 officers stood by while I fired up the grinder. Sparks flew, door creaked open. There sat Karen's pristine SUV, untouched but dusty, in the same exact spot. She stood nearby, arms crossed, jaw clenched like she was chewing invisible gum. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "You entered private property. You left the car, you never moved it, it stayed here untouched under surveillance." She didn't say a word, just got in the car, backed it out slowly, and stalled. Twice. Talk about anticlimactic. The HOA held a meeting 2 days later. Public. Open mic style. People lined up to speak. Not about me, but about Karen. How she'd harassed them, nitpicked their fence posts, accused kids of loitering on their own lawns, and how she once filed a complaint about someone's Halloween. Decorations in June. They voted unanimously to restrict her role. No more aesthetic liaison. No more pamphlets. The board even locked her out of the HOA app after she posted 6 rants in one night. The community turned fast. People stopped waving. Moms clutched their strollers tighter. One neighbor joked, she was the resident poltergeist, loud, invisible, and unwanted. But Karen, she wasn't done yet. 2 weeks later, I got a notice in the mail. Small claims court. Karen was suing me for emotional distress, property imprisonment, and my favorite one, reputational damage due to online defamation. Showed up to court in a clean shirt and brought one thing, a thumb drive, containing 12 hours of footage, police reports, emails, and every text from her, including, "I needed shade thanks." The judge watched silently for 10 minutes, then turned to Karen and said, "Did you actually enter this man's locked workshop without permission?" She stuttered, then nodded. Case dismissed. I didn't even have to say a word. A month later, a U-Haul showed up outside Karen's house. She packed in silence, didn't say goodbye, just vanished. Since then, the neighborhood feels lighter. The HOA made some reasonable rule changes. We've had 2 community cookouts in front of my workshop. Grill smoking, kids playing, folks laughing. And me? I turned the vault, as the neighbors now call it, into more than just a garage. I started filming tutorials. How to weld safely, restore an engine, strip rust without losing your eyebrows. The first video? How to safely weld a steel door without burning down your garage. The comments? Glorious. So yeah, that's the story of how I turned a $300,000 inconvenience into a viral lesson in boundaries. And if you've got a Karen in your life, just remember, keep your camera rolling, your documents in order, and your welder plugged in, metaphorically speaking.